Mortal combat. Most gladiators were either slaves or criminals who had been trained to fight in special schools. There were various types of gladiators, each with distinct weapons and costumes. If they were lucky, they survived to win their freedom. Many Romans thought the gladiator's way of life was glamorous. Some men even volunteered to be gladiators, and the Emperor Commodus shocked Rome by fighting in the arena himself. For many of these trained murderers, however, life was brutal and short. Bronze shield. A small bronze shield like this might have been carried by a Thracian, page 33. It did not offer much protection in a fight. The net man. This glass picture shows a type of gladiator called a retiarius, net man. He carried a weighted net to catch his opponent and a trident to stab him. If he lost his net, the unarmored retiarius was usually doomed. Decorative bronze crest. A bust of Hercules. Twist key. Flap at back protected neck. Handsome helmet. An elaborate bronze helmet like this one would have been worn by one of the more heavily armed gladiators. It gave good protection to the head, but the wearer could not see very well, which was dangerous when fighting the speedy retiarius. When in action, the face guard was locked with twist keys at the front. These large flaps protected the throat. Steel and claws. The games in the amphitheater lasted all day. In the morning, wild animals were brought on to fight each other or to face huntsmen, or simply to kill defenseless criminals. Around noon there would be a break for the bodies to be removed while the crowd waited for the main attraction in the afternoon, the gladiators. Elephant. In their endless search for novelty in the arena, the Romans scoured the known world for exotic animals like this African elephant. Bound for death. All kinds of animals from foreign lands, like this antelope, were captured and put on ships bound for Rome and the Colosseum. It was so important to the emperors to put on lavish spectacles that they spent vast sums of money on this cruel trade. Leopard is lunging at protected part of arm. The brute tamer of Pompeii. This 19th century lion tamer wore a Roman costume for his circus act. Bear. Bears were found locally, but animals such as tigers, polar bears, ostriches, and rhinos had to be shipped in from farther afield. Surprise attack. This clay plaque shows a leopard springing at an unwary bestiarius, animal fighter. Some of the huntsmen like to show off, for example, fighting big cats while on stilts. Deadly designs. The holes in this gladiator's face guard were small enough to protect the face without blocking the view. If the wearer was killed, the valuable armor was repaired and passed to another man. The final moment. The last tense moment of a fight is shown on this oil lamp. A wounded gladiator waits for the victor to deliver the final blow. Shoulder guard to protect the neck. Curved dagger. A life in the balance. A bronze statuette of one of the heavily armed gladiators shows the armor on his head, arms, legs, and unprotected stomach. He is probably wounded and appears to be raising his left hand to ask to be spared. The gladiators. We who are about to die salute you, shouted the gladiators to the emperor, and the fighting began. Several pairs or groups fought at a time. When a gladiator was wounded, he could appeal for mercy. The emperor listened to the crowd's opinion. Had he fought well enough to be spared? If not, the people jabbed downward with their thumbs, and he was killed. Lightly armed. Some gladiators were lightly armed, as shown in these bronze figures above. On the left is a Thracian carrying a curved dagger. On the right is a retiarius, page 31. Duel to the death. This clay plaque shows two heavily armed gladiators. One thrusts at his opponent's neck, the other attacks the unprotected stomach. Screen gladiator. Movies such as Gladiator above brought the terror of gladiator fights back to life. Here, actor Russell Crowe plays General Maximus, who fights to survive in the arena.